Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Votimum session, Votimum webinar with Nat. We have Nat today presenting the webinar. So with Neil and Aaron and Jenny here with me. Hello, Neil. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Aaron.
Hi.
Hello, Jenny. Welcome as well.
Hi, Alex, and hi, everyone else.
Hello. So let me go to the presentation. We have a couple of minutes before we start the session as well. The sound, the audio is very good. And guys, if you could, please, if you can confirm in the chat box, if you can hear as well, if the audio is good quality, we can start the session in a couple of minutes without any technical problems. Please, the chat box is open. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the confirmation. And guys, please feel free to make comments, ask questions in the chat box. It's always open throughout the session. So it's the way you can engage and interact with the presentation as well. Okay, Michael, thank you, Michael, for the confirmation as well. So yes, I think we can start. All good. Jenny, Neil, Aaron, over to you. We can start, please.
Great, thank you, Alex. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar today, where in today's session, we want to provide you with some further ideas that you can use to fulfill the 20% off the job training requirement and some of the benefits that you can get from participating in these programs as well. So I am Jenny Fung, a project manager at NET, and presenting with me, as Alex said, are Neil McManus, the construction T-level program area manager, and Aaron Carter, the apprenticeship and commercial manager, both from Leicester College. The college are really proactive in providing their students with enrichment opportunities and best practice CPD for their staff, and they'll go into some more detail on that later on. So what is NET? We are the National Electrotechnical Training Organisation, and we own and manage and develop the endpoint assessment for electrotechnical industry. Some of you may have heard of the AM2, which has independently been assessing the occupational competence of an electrical apprentice for over 30 years, which we deliver over a network of about 40 licensed training centres. We're also a registered charity, and we support a number of industry projects. And one of these that we're very proud of is the Ski Electric competition, which is the industry's premier skills competition. And we'll go into a bit more detail about that later on. Alongside the ECA, the JIB, Select, and Unite the Union, NET is a member of TESP, the Electrical Skills Partnership, and its priority really is around shaping policy and raising standards and promoting that professionalism across our industry. TESP also delivers a broad range of projects, and one of their current priorities is to ensure that vocational training meets industry needs and changes to the skills funding system. For all the work that we do at NET and across TESP as well as a member of them, we're continuously promoting the diverse range of career opportunities that are available to qualified individuals. So I'm going to hand over to Neil and Aaron the next couple of slides where they can talk about some of the CPD opportunities that they've provided to their own staff and their learners. So over to you, Neil and Aaron.
Thanks. Welcome, everybody. Leicester College, we're one of the largest T-level providers currently in the construction, and we offer a large range of full cost courses, a large apprenticeship program, along with study programs. One of the areas that's obviously key that we like to focus on is looking at the 20% off the job training for apprenticeships, and trying to get students and employers to engage with it in a more proactive way. And with that in mind, I've got Aaron Carter alongside me who looks after the apprentices, and he's obviously a key worker on the 20% off the job training. So I'm going to hand over to Aaron.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so part of the off the job training requirement, they've set this at 20%. So that works alongside your contracted working hours as an apprentice and the duration that you're on program. So typically when we look at electrical apprentices, they're on for 3.5, 4 years. So they take the full amount of that the duration of that course in weeks, and then take 20% of that. And that gives you a number then of how many hours training that is required for an apprentice to be able to be competent in what they do. So throughout all of construction, that can vary on the duration of the course, but then also contracted working hours. So to evidence this, it's about just evidencing as much training that you can, essentially. The term off-the-job training is quite open to interpretation, so we've just got quite a few examples of what you can use as part of that to log and evidence your training. Now, essentially, what I say to people at the start of their induction is that it's just any training that you feel like that you're having in the workplace or at college, that you feel like you've been trained on something. Okay.
I think one of the things there that Aaron's talking about is obviously, like today, you're participating in a forum with Ultima, who offer a lot of webinars in forum. And if you think today you're upskilling yourself on your apprenticeship, so today incorporates 20% of the off-the-job training.
Yeah. And because it's such a generic term, it almost, I find, puts apprentices off sometimes, because it's so open to interpretation. So but it's essentially anything that you feel like you're being trained on, or that you're gathering any sort of knowledge, skills, or any sort of behaviours towards the course that are relevant to the course.
I think one of the good websites, again, that we use with some of our apprentices is that when they start with us in year one, you know, they know what a screwdriver is, but have they actually touched a VDE screwdriver? So we direct them down the CK product wise, and that's got CPD certificates that they can use, and evidence against 20% off the job training. And it's a really useful website to use. There's lots of websites out there, such as eFix and the Skolmore Group, that offer webinars, video links, SGTP TV that you can all be part of and get involved in mentoring other people, which is 20% off the job training. It's not just about college, but sorry, Aaron.
No, yeah. That's fine. And just before, because we've got a sort of list of the different things you can use for off-the-job training, but just to give a bit of a background of why it's been brought in, it's generally, it's always been part of an apprenticeship, but it's a lot more official now. And it's just to help an apprentice invest more in the career, and even the employers invest more in the career as well, by saying you've got to actively go out and prove and log that you're gaining training toward your course, aside from the usual training that you'd get from any sort of training provider and or exposure to tasks you'll get on site. So just in terms of a list, we've got now, like Neil's mentioned, participating in online forums that are relevant to your role in the industry. Any individual study time that you have. So as part of the apprenticeship, you're going to be set tasks, you're going to be set assignment work, time to study and research. All of that time that you're taking to study can be logged as off-the-job training. Again, as mentioned, if you're being mentored by a senior colleague, that can go down as off-the-job training. You're being trained in something if you're sort of shadowing. But also then if you are delivering any sort of mentoring to another colleague, again, the electrical apprenticeship is for quite a long duration. There may be a time when you're coming towards the end of the apprenticeship that a new apprentice will be taken on. You may have to mentor that person. So that can be used as well. Completing reflective accounts. So going back and reflecting on any work that you've done can be logged in any sort of journal or any documents, really. At the college, we do hand out journals for apprentices to sort of note down what they're doing on a weekly basis, and then just take hours from that to add to their off-the-job training. Shadowing, so shadowing any colleague at work or mentor, Any group learning sessions that you may have, that includes college sessions.
Yeah, when Aaron's just mentioned shadowing people at work, don't just focus on an apprentice following a skilled work person. It could be in the office, shadowing the day-to-day running of the office and producing timesheets, in logbooks, in planning of the work, in that all fits into the MVQ.
Yeah, one thing I'll say in that as well, because especially in other areas in construction, they really promote getting to know other trades or spending time in other trades as well. And that includes things like working in the office, is planning, estimating materials, that sort of thing. So any sort of shadowing in that sense, that can all go towards your off-the-job training, because an apprenticeship's not just about learning your one skilled trade and gaining a qualification. The apprenticeship's about an overall insight into the whole industry then. So that's always a good one to focus on. If you get any opportunities to go into other sort of areas, it's a good way of collecting off the job training. Obviously, any face-to-face or tutor-led delivery or coaching sessions from your training provider. Internal learning and development sessions that relate to the apprenticeship. So that's any sort of extra sort of curricular activities, maybe, or any sort of extra learning or sessions involved in the apprenticeship aside from your usual sort of college training delivery. And then, as Neil mentioned earlier, things like what we're doing now, webinars, e-learning modules. I think if you sign up to as many of these sort of webinars as you can, you get regular sort of updates on when these are, and they're good to get into and get and attend, and they can then obviously contribute to your off-the-job working job hours, but also you're gathering information for your course. Role-playing or simulating workplace situations. So this is quite a big one as well. What this would mean is when you're out learning in the workplace, the work you'll be doing has what I would call an end product in which someone's making a profit from. Okay, so you're doing the work and there's a reason for doing it. When we talk about role play or simulating, it's maybe practicing on something. Okay, so not necessarily you're in a sort of domestic environment and you're doing the job, but you're practicing on some sort of material or something like that. Again, touching upon other areas, visiting other businesses or different businesses to see how they work, but then also industry-related competitions and shows. Also, as well, you may have, depending on the size of the employer, you may have sales people come to your workplace and demonstrate different tools or new tools. All that time can be put down to training. And then the usual sort of sessions that may happen through employment. So one-to-one sessions, meetings, appraisals, that sort of thing. All of those hours can be accrued as part of your off-the-job training.
ECS card.
Yeah, working towards ECS card, manual handling courses, first aid courses, all of that. So it's generally everything that has always come within an apprenticeship, but almost previously was getting overlooked. So it's been brought in now that we'll make it official, that this is something we need to evidence to show that, you know, apprentices and learners in general are investing in the career and are gaining all the knowledge, skills, behaviours and information they can.
I think one of the big things, and Jenny, I know you're going to lead on it in a minute, is obviously skills competitions, getting employers involved into the colleges with apprentices, and, you know, like running mock skill competitions before they enter them into the next UK skills competition. I think that's a real benefit in students thrive at that. They really do take it on board. And again, it's that 20%.
Absolutely, Neil and Aaron. I think echoing what you were both saying about 20% off the job is about the relevancy, isn't it, to the apprenticeship standard and something that is different to the apprentice's day-to-day tasks, really. So thank you for that. And that leads me nice into the programs that NET and TEST deliver, and we'll touch on some of these over the next couple of slides, if that's all right. So looking firstly at Skill Electric, it's, as I mentioned, the industry's premier annual competition. And each year, the best electrical apprentices across the UK take part in this competition journey, which is on the slide that you can see in front of all of you. And it's a unique developmental program that sits alongside their studying. Working through these stages actually counts towards that 20%. So if any of you are interested, the window for the journey opens on the 28th of April, February even, sorry, and ends on the 1st of April. But you can start getting involved now, as Neil says, and running some pre-competition activity, either in your place of work or at your own college. And those materials are available on our website, and I'll list everything in the chat room a little later on. You can see that it culminates in a UK final in November, and a venue hasn't been confirmed for that yet, but it's, as I said, a developmental journey. So why take part in skills competitions? Well, Skill Electric is the only route that leads to World Skills. If you haven't heard of World Skills, think of it as the Skills Olympics for vocational courses, such as electrical installation, bricklaying, mobile robotics, and so forth. The next competition is taking place in Shanghai of this year in October. So we've missed that tranche of entries to participate in that competition, but the competition that is running this year will lead to the feature competition, international competition, which is taking place in 2024 in Lyon of France. And there are several benefits of participating in skills competitions to providers, apprentices, and employers. Looking at providers first, it broadens your learners' technical skills beyond the curriculum and really motivates and upskills your staff to improve organisational performance. For employers, you can enhance and test your employees' skills in preparation of the EPA, for example, and also look to increase loyalty to your business and improve your business image as you are seen as an investor into your staff's learning and development. And I guess lastly, for the competitor, the young apprentice taking part in the competition themselves, they can showcase their skills to potential employers who visit these competitions, and it really does further develop their desirable technical and employability skills, such as working to tight timescales and not compromising on high quality workmanship, for example. Neil, I know Leicester College have had entrance to the competition before. Is there anything you want to add to Skill Electric and how you feel it benefits your learners and your staff?
I think it's just a great opportunity. Not only does it motivate staff, and those in FE today will understand the need for motivation at times. I've had the privilege of having a winner, and it's a fantastic experience when you see your student, perform well in these competitions, whether it's this one, sports one, or the NIC Skolmore one. The benefits to the learner, if we find that if we run, over 2 weeks or weeks competition to find out who we're going to enter, and we get employers involved as a college, we normally then find that these employers are really keen to take on T-level learners for industrial placements. But they're quite shocked and impressed about how far the college has come since they were students themselves and apprentices, and this never happened in my time experience. The students are really keen to compete against each other and be the best, and it's quite surprising that they actually then, once you've selected someone, or the employers have selected someone who they feel could represent the college, the students get behind him. It's a talking conversation. Have you tried this? You tried this? How's it going? And it really does bring the best out in the group.
Thanks for that, Neil. I'm going to play you guys a video now of an inspiring young man called Richard Sagar, who's an ex-Skill Electric competitor, just so you can see how it's aided his career and how far along he's come. So can I ask Neil that we mute the microphones just so I can pop this video on, please? Thank you.
My name is Richard Sager. I competed in Skill Electric competition in 2008, 11 years ago, which I then went on to compete in the World Skills 2009 competition in Calgary afterwards. I won gold medal, which is amazing, I think. The experience changed my life in more ways than I can ever explain to anyone. And it really gave me a set of skills, professional, technical development that accelerated like my career 10, 15, 20 years without a doubt. Since winning, I moved from my small town in Scotland, and then eventually after a year I started my own business, originally just a small electrical company, the idea was to take a lot of the skills which I learned as part of the World Skills experience, the kind of higher level programming skills, and develop them and take my business in that direction. So subsequently now, the company which I run, we work in luxury homes, yachts, hotels, and we program the automation systems, the AV systems, to create the luxury experience which high net worth individuals expect in the world's finest interiors. For example, I've just come back from Barcelona, where we have a project, a 97 meter boat, which will have our systems in it. This afternoon I fly to Milan to look at a project we have in Milan. We've got a project in Adelaide, Australia, if you can believe that. We're doing a hotel in Ibiza. Like, the scope of work which we're doing is incredible. Grab the opportunity with both hands. When I was in my small village looking at this opportunity, I didn't realize how good opportunities can be and what they look like when they're presented to you. Like, this is huge. It's an awesome opportunity to experience something very few people in their life will get to experience. The host of skills and development you learn off the back of it will set you up for the rest of your life. It really is a career-changing decision and a life-changing decision to take advantage of the opportunity and take it for all it's worth and build and grow and build and build and build and grow and grow and grow.
So hopefully Richard did justice there for Skill Electric competition, and I'd like to now move on to another programme that Net runs, which is Future Fridays. So this is a recent initiative, and it really aims to inform and inspire those apprentices and full-time electrical students on what the correct routes are into becoming qualified and the opportunities that are available to them beyond domestic roles or traditional roles. And the proper way to become qualified. So it is a combination of live and virtual events where we have a bespoke platform that we use to reach the masses, and it certainly helped across the pandemic. But our most recent event was actually run with Neil and his amazing team at Leicester College. So I would like to, again, play you a little video from that just so you have a better idea of what Future Fridays is. And I'll just ask Neil, who's already on mute, to mute, but he has, and I'll pop that video on. So thank you. So you can see from that video, guys, it was a combination of not just industry speakers coming in and sharing and informing the learners with their experience. It was the students prior to that participating in a task that was set for them to present to the speakers on the day and to then be judged and win some prizes by Scomore Group and CK Tools. Neil, do you mind sharing some of the benefits that you felt your team again took from that experience all day alongside the learners as well?
Yeah, I mean, to sum it up, I had one parent ring me up who just said, "Thank you. We're amazed. He doesn't speak at home. He doesn't communicate. He's come home and he's not shut up about today." And it is a learner with, some learning difficulties, but that just sums it all up when a parent rings up, because parents never ring up unless it's something to complain about. And to get positive praise like that, and see the change in the learner himself. I mean, he originally wasn't going to go on a placement in Seville in Spain, which we take students on, but he's now just come back from doing a placement and he's talking. He didn't used to speak in the classroom. And it was from that day when, we forced him, if you like, to get up, and they all had to participate in the presentation, and he did. And winning it, it's changed the kid's life. Staff were all motivated on the day. They were chomping at the bits to be involved. Yeah. We brought in past apprentices that worked for the city council. We brought in evening students, females that had gone down a different route to get their MVQs in that. And they were all, more than willing to participate and be supportive. In fact, there's two of them that were on the day that now want to come back and do some part-time teaching for us. So that, I can't say much more than that on the event.
No,
Fantastic.
Lovely circular give, receive, and then give back. So thanks for sharing it, Neil. We are looking to run more events this year, guys. As I said, they are either live or virtual events or a combination of both, a hybrid of them. And when we have more information on that, it will be available on the website. So please do join us if you can. And again, it counts towards the 20% of the job. Thanks. And then the next program that I'm going to share with you is an initiative that is run by TESP, and it was launched last year, where we are encouraging really individuals from the industry to become an ambassador. It's part of a massive network, as you can see there on the slide, to really come in and encourage individuals to become that next generation really of electrical professionals. It's quite a flexible program. It asks for a minimum requirement, and I think of one participation a year, and I'm sure we've all got time to deliver something to support that. And it's really flexible in that you can go in person or deliver over a virtual platform within a community or to a much wider or smaller group. And the support that is received from the local hubs that you will become a part of is really quite amazing. And they signpost very regular activities. They're there for hand-holding or advice whenever you need. So this will also support yourselves in professional CPD, because you might be looking, for example, to improve on your communication skills or your leadership abilities, and you might want to go into a school and provide that to a group of young learners. So another thing to consider there. The other initiative that I wanted to share with you guys as well was something called the Youth Group Mentor Me program. Now, so far, I think the youth group has only been running for, it hasn't been running for long, but an amazing young man called Jack Parsons, their CEO, and it has supported over 1.7 million young people into roles that they are passionate about. And TESP are looking to work with them to really build a network of mentors with electrotechnical experience, or even the current apprentice who's studying, to inform other young people about, those opportunities within our industry. And you can choose to speak to a variety of different job seekers to share your experiences or insights, or look to mentor one individual from start to end to develop them along their journey to attaining a job. Again, very flexible program, as you can see on screen there. It's a one-off 45-minute session, and that really will make a difference if you can inspire just that one person to consider our industry. But if you can do more, the youth group recommends holding a 1 hour session once every 3 weeks over a 6-month period to really get that impact and so forth as well. I will share all these links in the chat in a minute, as I said, when I stop speaking, and it'll also be available in the presentation when this is sent out later on. This slide here just covers off some of the examples that Aaron shared with you guys earlier on, and you can refer back to it. There's also helpful resources available via .gov and also National Apprenticeship's website directly themselves as well. So I guess just to recap, please get involved. You know, these are amazing initiatives and programs. As Neil has said himself, they are transformative. Young people go home or infused and they share this with their parents, and Neil gets phone calls that are positive rather than complaining about something. So get involved via the links that we have in this presentation, or get in touch with one of ourselves and we can share further information with you guys. But I think in terms of making value of this session, unless Neil or Aaron, you've got anything else to add, I'd like to take it to questions and go out to the floor really and see if you guys have got anything you'd like to pick our brains about that hopefully we can answer, and anything that we can't, we'll take it offline and come back to you because we'll get your contact details from Voltimum.
Yeah, Jen, just to recap, the emails being shared,
do.
I don't know everything, but more than willing to share anything that we have. Again, we get young students from other colleges ringing us up, asking us questions in that related to qualifications in that. Feel free. And again, you know, there's opportunities set up with another college and set up competitions. You know, we're more than up for it at Leicester College to be supportive.
And I've just dropped the links into a couple of bullet points in the chat section and to the public section, so you guys can access it easily ahead of receiving this presentation. But yeah, Alex, if we can take it to questions, that'd be brilliant.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenny. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Aaron, for your presentation. We have some questions here. Some of them Neil had already commented, but it's always good. If you want Neil to comment, let me publish them one by one. And let me just give one information, guys. If you could, there's a survey at the top of your screen. If you want to click, if you could contribute and participate, we appreciate. So during the Q&A, please feel free to join us in the survey, suggesting new themes, new subjects for new webinars, and giving us feedback. It's very important to improve our service as well. Okay, so thank you. Let's start. Let me publish the first one. Neil, I think you replied to this one, but if you want to comment, Michael did this question. Progress reviews do not count, the number 3.
Yeah, Michael, sorry, I know he doesn't display very well on the PowerPoint at times, but that's what we were saying in the PowerPoint at the bottom. The bits along the bottom of the original slide do say that progress reviews do not count as the, you know, towards the 20%. We totally agree.
Thanks, Neil. Perfect. Thanks, Michael, for your question. The next one, Neil. Yeah, he said, I thought it needed to be in the work hours, not homework, etc.
Yeah, I'm going to pass the book here to Aaron. It's his fault. I'll let Aaron explain this one.
No, so I mean, some of the examples there, which I gave earlier, may sort of initially think that they would be done outside of the working hours, but part of an apprenticeship and why they've set this 20% is the expectation of the bodies that regulate apprenticeships is that 20% of the working week is to be training. So everything that I've mentioned should fall into the working week. Okay, so if, for example, a apprentice is contracted to 40 hours a week, and that is 8 o'clock till 4:30 in the evening, the training would happen in that employment contracted working hours. So although when I talk about here, like time spent researching and writing up assignments and learning and that sort of thing, although sometimes it can be construed as out of working hours because it may be set as homework, the expectation is that it will be done within the working hours.
Neil, I think obviously like a lot of colleges and employers, I think one of the biggest challenges we all have is the information, advising, guidance to employers. That employers want the student there for the 40 hours, the 20% do it in your own time approach, but actually the 20% is, as you're saying quite clearly, in their working hours. So the homework, the research, it is or should be within their working hours. It's not always possible, but that's for the employer to plan, and the information, advice and guidance that we provide to them. Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Neil, for your question as well. Let's move forward. The next one from Richard. Is there any allowance when a learner has APL and so may only have one college unit, but still all on-site element, but they won't have to attend college?
That's a good question, Richard. At the start of the course, the training provider will take into account any APL and then amend the course duration as per whatever APL that is. So, for example, if a apprentice was to start with no previous experience before, we would enrol them then onto the 4-year course, and the 20% hours will be calculated on the basis of a 4-year duration. If a apprentice starts that has already completed previous qualifications, such as a level 2 or a level 3 diploma, we'll adjust the duration depending on what qualification they've got, and that would then, because it's a percentage, reduce the amount of hours then. So it goes on, but it should be done again at the start of the course.
Yeah, Richard, I just to come in on there, one of the big discussions we do have with TESPT currently, and the DFE is obviously looking at this APL, and you know what can you APL if they've done a level 2 and a level 3, and it always comes back to doing that initial assessment with the individual, because age will come into things. What type of work? Have they got any work experience on it that's going to reduce the APL? And if it's testing inspection, they've only done it in the college, then is that really APL? Should we APL all the college course, or should they come in for certain units? But yes, the 20% is affected by the overall apprenticeship time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Richard. Next one from Ryan. In your experience, how much convincing would an employer need to allow an apprentice into a competition?
Thanks for your question, Ryan. Go on, you go first, Neil.
Yeah, obviously individuals again, but Ryan, it's not just about the employer. First of all, you need the apprentice to buy into it, and I'm just going to talk about winning competitions and getting the right candidate. So if we can spot potential, and they're not there every year, but if we can spot the potential, then we would, in their classroom time at college as part of their course, we would take them off a normal workbook and put them on an exam prep piece that's related to the competition, or the student comes in at night time. They need to put in that extra bit. But what's really good, if you can really get an employer, especially coming up towards the competition, would the employer allow them an additional day to work with you or your college team on practicing development? So the time, I can't put on time. Go on, Jenny, sorry.
Sorry, no, just to back up what you're saying as well, and to answer your question, Ryan, hopefully, without giving specific times, it's about a triangulated approach, isn't it? Neil's right. The individual needs to be interested first, but they need that network of support via their employer and their provider as well. I can only talk from experience that a young person who competes in a competition who doesn't have that support, very rarely fares very well in a competition. And going back to Neil's point about identifying that potential in the first place, as I said, the competition is not a one day, let's have a jolly outside of lesson. It is a learning journey that ultimately starts well before the February registration window opens. They might be identified back in September of last year and then slowly worked up over the month using pre-competition activity to enhance that further technical abilities further, in addition to the employability such as confidence or working under pressure and repeating tasks until there's finesse at doing something. That ultimately all turns out a better employee back to the place of work. I've had people who have entered competitions who wouldn't have even looked me in the eye at the very beginning when we were taking a roll call, just to check they were there. And you see them again in November when they've gone through this developmental journey and you cannot keep them quiet. Jen, can you introduce me to that person who's potentially an employer and so forth as well? What's that sponsor doing? How do I get involved with work experience and so forth? And these are all the benefits, hopefully, a good employer would support their employees with to self-develop and progress with lifelong learning. So I can't answer that question with a number, but a good employer would understand all those benefits and support that L&D, Ryan.
Jen, it's not just about the ability practically.
No, you're right.
It's the softer skills, the behaviours that play a massive part. They're representing the college, they're representing their family, they're representing their employer, and the people that they get to meet in opportunities. Richard, spoke about the opportunities created for him. And most people that win these competitions do go on to bigger and bright. You just wish you could be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was young enough, yeah. So I hope that helps, Ryan. But feel free to get in touch with me. If we can help in any way in terms of talking to employers and so forth as well, produce a little one page. Happy to do something like that.
Perfect, Jenny. Thank you. Thanks, Neil, as well. Thanks, Ryan. One more question from Ryan. He says, I may have missed this bit already, so apologies if I'm going over it again, but is listening to a podcast or watching a webinar on enough to be counted as development?
Yes, it can. It's an opportunity to be counted as development. Obviously, the apprentice has got to take something from it. It's got to be considered as some sort of training. It's got to be relevant to the course. But yes, again, like the webinar today, it's informative. It's training, so you can use it.
Competition preparation. You've got 20% today. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Ryan. Next one from Frank. If an apprentice went to a night college relevant to course, then it would not be in their 9-5 working day, and would it count the 20%?
So before Aaron answers, every employee is different. Some do, depending on age, work out, different hours. It's in that contracted hours with the apprentice and the employer that make up. So I don't know. As the employer giving this learner half a day off on a Monday, and he starts later on a Monday and works later in the evening for his apprenticeship, therefore it's got to be within his working hours.
Yeah, I'd agree. So that would then come down to, this flexibility with apprenticeships in terms of contracts of employment. So if then the route for that apprentice would be to do evening classes, it'd be expected that it's written into the contract of employment that that would include the working week. If that makes sense.
Yeah, Frank, I think that's and we're grateful for employers giving students the opportunity to be apprenticeshiping and grow the working force of the future. But to me, the employer must allow time for this 20%. It's there in the contract, and I know they don't always. You can only work to the contract. Thanks.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, Frank. And next one, we have a comment from Richard. He was commenting from the question, the previous question. Thank you. Have to go. The learners wait. Not convinced that new technicals should APL unless they make the apprenticeship realigned. The 2365 did align nicely. Now the new technicals are in place. I question the alignment and depth. We'll catch up with comments and recordings. Thanks again.
Yeah, I don't know if Richard's still here or not. Again, I think I've answered it in the previous comments that the tests, the DFE are looking at this and how much APL you can carry across. And even when a learner's done a 2365, a level 2, level 3, not all training providers were APL-ing it across, depending on age, depending on the evidence, the skill scan that you originally do with a student. And obviously the 8202, it maps across, but how much do you really APL when the learner's only done it in college? Science is science for me. It doesn't play an awful lot of part in the actual apprenticeship, the MVQ part, but when it comes to the install, the regulations, testing, inspection, and fault finding, I don't really think that should be APL'd across, because just doing it by course is not enough. And then, I don't know, I find that quite a few learners, they forget what they've been taught the week before. So a refresher course may be shortened to improve the knowledge in that and retrain them, plus the on-site evidence because they're now apprentice. So, it's an APL. There's massive discussions going on about it currently. Yeah, there is no right or wrong answer, and I agree with you, Richard. Thanks for the question. Good question.
Perfect. Thank you. So, well, I think all questions have been replied. Someone is typing, I can see. So let's see if we have one more question. The chat box still open, guys. So if you want to add one or two more questions, please feel free. Otherwise, let me come back to our cameras. So let me say thank you, guys. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Jenny.
No worries.
Maybe we'll have some more questions because someone's still typing. Let's wait. But whilst we wait, Jenny, would you like to? Yeah, we have one more question. Let me publish it so we have this on our main screen. 1 second. Yeah, guys, from Frank. Have you found that COVID restrictions and employees laying off apprentices have had an impact on the 20% delivery?
I think, good question.
It is.
With the COVID. At Leicester College, we've not come across this problem. I have heard of other colleges, obviously, struggling in loss of apprentices. And obviously, you've got to find a new apprentice. But there is that option also to freeze an apprenticeship for a period of time so you don't lose out on the 20%. Obviously, I know at Leicester College we continue to deliver. I'm not saying it's the best method in this training required for students and staff when you're doing it, but the delivery of online delivery through Teams in that. And one of the biggest benefits during the COVID shutdown with Impact was the teaching for a short while, but then using like Skolmore and Skolmore TV in that to run little webinars and get the students watching that for CPD in the 20%. Really beneficial. But good question, Frank. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Someone's typing again, so hopefully we'll have one more question. But no, let me come back. So guys, thank you again. And let's go one by one. Jenny, would you like to leave a last message before we finish and whilst we wait one more question, hopefully, but feel
Yeah,
free, please.
I just passionately ask that you all get involved. You know, I've seen these programs work for individuals or even groups of people. You know, come and try them out for yourself, and let us know if you will be a future case study and so forth as well, where we can then reach out to you. So please just get involved.
Thank you. Aaron, please.
No, thank you very much for letting me be part of this. And yeah, it's been good to pass on some information to people, hopefully bust some myths. But no, thank you.
Thanks. Neil, please.
Just grab every opportunity with both hands. You know, Jenny and Net and Kate are brilliant to work with, and it opens doors to other people. They've introduced me to Scolmore. The work that Scolmore do for the college in that, it's available for you. Scolmore want to work with you. CK Tools, if you're not already involved, get on their product website. There's great resources out there. eFix, Joe, he did his apprenticeship with me here at Leicester College. He wants to come out to colleges and meet you all. And it's about inspiring our apprentices and our future electricians on a study programme. That's the key point for me. Just grab every opportunity, because then you'll provide every learner with an opportunity. Yeah. Thanks, Alex, for your help today. It's been great. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you, Kate, for your support as well. So thank you, guys. Stay tuned for our next communications. And thank you. Sorry, the access to the video. Sorry, last message. Guys, this video is going to be, it has been recorded, and it's going to be available on Votimore Academy, probably by tomorrow. So the site is votimore.co.uk/academy. So you can access until tomorrow, and you can watch it again if you miss it any part. Okay, so thanks very much, and take care. See you.
Thank you for hosting us, Alex.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Thanks. Bye.